This video is unpacking part 2 of the Dissecting Writing assessment that we're working on in English. In this case, we're looking at modelling sentence structures. Your goal for this document is to write 4 sentences on a game of your choice based on the structure of the Destiny 2 review we looked at in the previous task. What we're going to be doing in this case is looking really closely at how each of these different sentences are written and how we can substitute different information into that same structure to get our word across. This is a really important process to use when you're writing something in a style that you've never written before. So let's go through the process. The first step is to read each sentence in the section of writing. So we're assuming that you've already read the sentences. In this case, there's 4 of them, and that's going to replicate the 4 sentences that we're going to do. The middle column here talks about what the writing is saying. And this is going to help me understand what it is I'm going to be trying to write about when it comes to my piece. So when I look at this, I can see Destiny 2 has been a welcome addition to the FPS RPG genre. So obviously what it's saying is what's written. Destiny 2 has been a welcome addition. But I'm going to try and type this part so that it's not looking specifically at Destiny. So in this case, I'm going to type the game, which in this case is Destiny 2, has been a welcome addition to people who like this type of game. So what you notice in here is I've sort of said the same thing, but I've taken away the things that are really specific about it. The reason I've done that is because I've been able now to recognize the things that I could change and the things that can stay the same. The game that I'm going to write about is Assassin's Creed Origins. Now you're going to have to pick a different game. So you're not allowed to pick Assassin's Creed Origins in this case, but you should be using the same process. So what I'm going to do on this side is now I'm going to transfer the part where I knew I'd said Destiny 2. I changed over here to the game, and in this case I'm going to say Assassin's Creed Origins. So that's the title of my game, a different game. Well, it's a bit of an error in there. Has been a welcome addition to the Assassin's Creed Origins is not a first-person shooter game, but it is an RPG game. So I have to think about how I could define the type of game in a way that's different to Destiny 2. So in this case, I've said stealth action genre, because it's sort of a stealth game where you're sneaking around, but it's also very much an action game that follows a story. I've put a full stop after that. So now my sentence follows the same structure and purpose as the original sentence for Destiny 2. But the meaning of my sentence has changed because I'm focusing on a different game. What you can see in this case is not only am I changing the name of the game, but I'm also having to change the words I'm using to describe it to make sure they match. Let's do another one together. When I look at the original sentence, it reads, its cooperative gameplay and deep loot mechanics make it stand out from other popular competitive FPS titles like Overwatch 2 and Apex Legends. So what I can see from reading that is there's some really good things about Destiny 2. It's got great cooperative gameplay and deep loot mechanics. So I'm going to write in this box, there are good things about this game which make it better than similar types of game. So you notice as the sentence gets a little bit longer, then I'm having to be a bit more creative in how I describe what it's saying. So there are good things about this game, and those good things are the cooperative gameplay and the deep loot mechanics. When I move over to my writing, I have to ask myself, are the good things about Assassin's Creed the same as the good things about Destiny? Now, I think they're probably not. So let's see how we can adapt the purpose of this sentence to suit my game. So I'm going to keep its, because it in this case refers to the game that we discussed in the previous sentence. And that's the same thing that the Destiny 2 article has done. But I have to think about what's good about Assassin's Creed Origins. So you can see I've typed in 2 things about this game that I thought were really good and different. It had tighter combat controls, and it had a more story-driven quest line. It wasn't just a series of jumping on people and stabbing them. It gave more and more story and background to the character. So you can see what I've written in this case, And you can see the parts that are the same as the original sentence, but also the parts that I've changed. In the Destiny article, it said that it stood out from other popular titles like Overwatch 2 and Apex Legends, which were completely different games. But in this case, I thought it was important to talk about how Assassin's Creed Origins is actually better than previous Assassin's Creed games. Now, there were a couple of ways I could have done this. In the Destiny article, it listed 2 specific games that Destiny 2 is better than. In this case, I haven't listed the specific games. I could have said that stand out from games like Assassin's Creed 4 and Assassin's Creed 3. But to me, that felt like I'd be saying Assassin's Creed a lot, so I made this decision to be a bit more concise and say previous games in the series. When you do your sentence, you'll have to think about what works best for you. Are you talking about previous games in a similar series, or are you talking about completely different games? What matters in my writing is that I've shown the same purpose in my sentence that was shown in the Destiny 2 sentence, and that's how I know I'm on the right track. When you work on this piece, your goal is to create 4 sentences on a game of your choice. They might read similar to my pieces about Assassin's Creed Origins, but they should be different because the good things about your game are going to be different to Destiny 2 and Assassin's Creed. So it's all about recognizing what you're trying to say and swapping in the language that you need in order to get your message across. In each case, you should only have one full stop because it's one sentence. But I also want you to look closely at things like commas and capital letters to make sure that you're managing the grammar and punctuation of the sentence in the same way as the Destiny article. By the end of this task, you should have 4 explanations of what the text is saying, and you should have 4 sentences that you have written yourself based on a game that you choose. Once you've done that, you can submit the work onto Daymap.